This is quite a place with a beautiful speaker system, I will tell you. We can tell that immediately. Well, good afternoon, and thank you to my good friend, Governor Scott Walker, tremendous guy, tremendous governor, for hosting us here in the great state of Wisconsin. It is a great state. I've been here many times since the election. I'm also thrilled to be joined by Secretary of Labor Alexander Acosta. Thank you, Alex. And Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos. We're here today in Waukesha County Technical College to discuss one of the most important questions facing our young people: how to get education and training that they need to find a rewarding and high-paying job. We have a lot of companies moving into the United States, and we're negotiating with a lot of companies. Just backstage, we were negotiating with a major, incredible manufacturer of phones and computers and televisions, and I think they're going to give the governor a very happy surprise very soon. During my campaign for president, I talked about crucial importance of vocational training, teaching young people the skills, crafts, and trades that are vital to our economy and our success as a country and their success as an individual. America must not only teach, but celebrate the skilled laborers that produce and maintain the world's greatest machines, buildings, products, and infrastructure, innovations that improve our quality of life, help keep us safe, and have the power to inspire, awe, and wonder. And I will say, when I was going to school and I was going to college, but I'd meet people that didn't have a great ability, or frankly, they didn't have a great liking for what they were doing, what they were studying. But they could take apart an engine. They could do drilling like I've never seen before. They could put up a brick wall better than all of the kids in that college or that university, a great school. They could put up a wall in record time and make it far better than anybody else could have done. They just had an amazing ability, and that's what we're about today. We're here to talk about the dignity of work and the greatness of the American worker, and also loving the work you do. I just toured the classrooms, and I must say, they aren't your normal lecture halls, but in a certain way, they're far more beautiful. You learn incredible skills like welding, automotive repair, and machine tool operations. And I looked at the machines, and I'll tell you, what they have is incredible. And the knowledge to operate them is very amazing. This institution has pioneered the hands-on learning and apprenticeships that produce terrific careers for young Americans. Governor Walker has developed workforce training, very important, workforce training, programs that open up more opportunities for all students, whether they want to go to a four-year college, a technical college, trade school, or work and learn as a skilled apprentice. I love the name apprentice. It's a great word. The governor just announced $3.9 million in grant funds to place 4,300 high school juniors and seniors in apprenticeships in areas like agriculture, health science, hospitality, and engineering. We want a future where every high school in America offers apprenticeship opportunities for young citizens and studying things that they want to study and studying things that they're going to be great at. Under this vision, high school students could learn and they could earn. And boy, when I say earn, they can make great salaries doing something that they love. Learn invaluable skills, find a career they love, and enter the workforce faster and without debt. Tomorrow you'll be hearing more about how my administration is going to expand apprenticeships all throughout the country for young people, and it's called Earn While You Learn. That's pretty good. I look forward to hearing from all of you, especially from the students who are here today, great students, who will tell us about their experience learning some of the most important trades in our nation. It's what keeps our nation going. We're going to do everything we can to support you and help more young people have the opportunities we have here in Waukesha County and this incredible county technical college. I'm very, very impressed with everybody I've met. I'm very, very impressed with the facilities, and a lot of very talented people are leaving here and going on to something they love and making a fantastic living. So I just want to thank you all, and you have done a wonderful job. Thank you very much. And thank you. I'd like to introduce now my daughter, Ivanka, who is so strongly committed to what we're here for today, and she's going to say a few words. Thank you very much.
And thank you for having us here today at the Waukesha County Technical College. It was truly inspiring to see such a dynamic campus and to meet so many motivated students, several of whom are with us at this table. I enjoyed seeing firsthand the incredible and very important work that you're doing here. Throughout the campaign and since joining the White House, the President, members of the administration, and myself have met with CEOs and business leaders and heard repeatedly about the challenges they face in finding candidates with the required skills to meet the available jobs. While millions of Americans are struggling to find full-time employment, companies are reporting difficulty finding people with the skills they need to fill those vacant positions. There are currently 6 million jobs available in this country that are due in part to the skills gap. The private sector and states, and thank you, Governor, for all that you're doing here, are taking initiative and partnering with schools such as this to create curriculums and apprenticeship programs that teach the skills in need at their companies and that are required to succeed in the modern economy. Today, we have seen firsthand the success of these skill-based programs and the success that they can have. Programs like this are critical to bridging our nation's skill gap and to ensuring that there is a great and ready talent pool to meet the in-demand jobs that are currently available and to continue to come online. Workforce development is at the heart of the administration's agenda, and we are very, very excited to be here today and support the great work being done here at Waukesha. So thank you all, and Governor Walker, thank you for hosting us.
Well, thank you both, Mr. President, and Ivanka Trump, thank you so much for joining us, and as well as bringing your two outstanding cabinet secretaries in both labor and education. It's really an honor to have you back. We appreciate it. We just had Mike Pence, Vice President Pence was in town in Milwaukee on Saturday talking about health care. It's even more exciting, as much as I love Mike, to have you here today. And it's perfect because the president back earlier this year, all the governors from across the country got together, and we were talking about health care and transportation and all sorts of issues. And I got up and I said, Mr. President, appreciate that discussion, but the number one issue in our state is workforce. And so I can't tell you how much I appreciate your being here today. I particularly love it, actually, for both of you being here, because I think that day I referenced something I'll repeat for just a moment, and then we'll open up to this panel for about 15 minutes and take some comments from folks here. But I love, there's a picture, last time I saw in the Oval Office, there's a picture of your father on the desk behind the Resolute desk. And what I love is what you said once that I never forgot, that your father taught you the importance of hard work and working people. Right. And that same day, Ivanka, you gave a speech earlier where you talked about how your father was just at home on the work site with the bricklayers and the steam fitters as he was with the managers out there. And I thought that was so incredibly important, because I know for sure in this state, and I know the CEOs would say it, as I hope the students would as well, and that is that we have jobs. In this state, we have more people employed than ever before. Today alone, I looked on our website called jobscenterwisconsin.com, had 96,901 jobs listed on that site today alone. And so we have more people employed in the state than ever before. We have an unemployment rate at 3.2%. That's the lowest it's been since before 9/11. And we have one of the highest percentages of people working. Mr. Secretary, you'll appreciate that. We have almost 69% labor force participation rate. So we're in the top 10 in the nation out there. But that means we need to find more people to fill those jobs. And so what you're seeing here at Waukesha County Technical College and the 15 other colleges like this across the state are really at the forefront. And so again, thank you to WCTC for hosting us, and particularly for the students and the instructors we heard from. I know the CEOs will chime in now. I'm going to be a taskmaster and keep everybody on track because I know how it is if I get behind in my own office. I can only imagine as president. But I do want to open it up for not only the CEOs, but for, we've got a number of students here. We're thrilled that we have not only students here today, but you both will appreciate this. We have more than doubled youth apprenticeships over the past 6 years. We more than doubled funding for it. As you alluded to, we're now up to 4,300 youth apprentices across the state of Wisconsin. And what you'll be particularly interested in is in 5 of the last 6 years, more than 40% of our youth apprenticeship programs have been women participants. Great. In fact, some of our best welders in the state are some of our young women who are part of the program, and we really appreciate that. But I'd like to open it up for those raised, and then I know you got to press the button down if you'd like to talk. Maybe I'll pick on, I don't know, Ella, you're looking at me like you don't know if you want to say something or not, but I'm going to pick on you anyway because you're one of the great folks who's gone through the program here. You got a good story. Why don't you tell the President and Ivanka and the Secretaries a little bit about what you're doing and what you're looking forward to in the future with that.
Well, I'm Ella Johnson, and I started welding about 2 years ago at Waukesha West High School. I started welding there and instantly fell in love with it. I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. And our school has a program that works with the college called dual enrollment, where I would be taking college classes while still in high school. So for my senior year of high school, I took my first year of college as well. And I graduated about 2 weeks ago with my technical degree for welding from college. And then last weekend, I graduated from high school with my diploma. So I got a high school degree, or a college degree, before a high school diploma, which I think is pretty awesome.
That's pretty good.
So I am... Thank you. I am planning on coming back to WCTC for my second year to get my associate's degree for welding, and I plan on welding for a good part of my life until retirement. I currently have a job at Wisconsin Metal Parts right now, and I absolutely love what I do.
Thank you very much. That's beautiful.
Yep.
Thank you.
And what Ella just mentioned is super, because we were talking about that when we were going on the tour here before. There's 12 school districts that partner, and some of whom are represented here. The superintendent of Waukesha, one of the districts the district that includes one of the schools she just mentioned is in there. But 12 districts that partner with the Waukesha County Technical College through a grant the state gave to help do exactly that, to give them a head start. And what we love, it's kind of like the discussion you're having in Washington, where it's not how much money you spend, but where you spend it that matters. Doing it strategic so that you get cases like that going forward. So thanks, Ella, for sharing.
Great job.
Others, not only students, but other CEOs want to tell us a little bit. Joel, it's got that look. See, if you give me a look like Ella gave me, that means you're interested in talking. I'm going to pick on you. But Joel Quadracci, why don't you tell us a little bit about your thoughts about hiring and the needs that you have in the workforce? Just hold it straight down the whole time.
The whole time, okay.
Yep.
So Joel Quadracci, President and CEO of Quad Graphics. We have about 22,000 employees countrywide, about 7,500 within 40 miles of this place. And so we were a very early adopter of the apprenticeship program here. And also some unique things that we do for our employees is on the healthcare side. So, one of the things I believe in business is that, we're going to find a way when we have these challenges. And hiring is certainly a challenge, but everything is. We actually brought healthcare inside and now do it for a lot of companies in here. But then when it comes to hiring, we've hired 2,500 students in the last 5 years in Wisconsin. And in 2015, I was surprised at how hard it was to bring people in. Our whole business literally almost had to go on hold in Wisconsin because we were trying to fill so many jobs. And we're dealing with, $20 million pieces of equipment. These are big printing presses that require a lot of automation, a lot of electronics. And, I think that in this day and age, you have to attract people every which way you can. So I was glad to hear you talk also about the high schools, because I think one of the biggest shames is how few high schools still have shop class. And we restarted our high school program just this past year and have worked with the state of Wisconsin on, the 50 apprenticeships we have going here right now and continue to do it. It's an absolute must. And the other thing I'll say is that, you have a lot of the tradesmen retiring. There's a big bubble that is retiring. And the people who need to pick up the skills today not only need to pick up the skills that those people had, but they have to do it in the backdrop of continuous improvement, advanced manufacturing techniques. At WCTC, we supported the print department for a long time, but we've pivoted over to advanced manufacturing because manufacturers, there's no room for error. We have to do everything, and the people is the biggest problem and the biggest challenge. And I'm telling you that this program that we have with WCTC works very, very well.
Thank you very much. That's great. I have to say, while I'm here, last time we were working with the farmers and the milk and NAFTA and Canada, and it's moving along very well. I just want to let the farmers know we are really making big progress and opening things up. You'll be seeing the results very soon. You've already seen them, but you'll be seeing the results very soon, because that was a couple of months ago when we were together right here.
And you took action right away, and we appreciate that. Todd, I'm going to call you in 1 second here, but I want to just add, Joel is so serious. I was seeing John over at Mercury Marine, and if you're interested after I call in Ted, I'm going to call you, John, as well, because I was just there yesterday at Mercury Marine, who's got a spectacular story. But as I was coming back, we went by your Lamira plant, and they're so serious. They have an electronic billboard that looks over the freeway that shows all the jobs that are open. There's a dental assistant open I saw last night right there, in addition to all your manufacturing jobs. But they put the jobs right up there. They're that hungry for putting people to work, and it's an exciting time, and we're excited to have more people hired.
Right.
Todd is the CEO of Briggs & Stratton. Todd, why don't you tell us a little bit about your thoughts?
Yeah, Mr. President, great to have you here. We make engines, about 109.
I know all about it. It's a great company. I know.
Thank you.
Nobody makes them better.
Thank you very much. 85% of what we do is here in the U.S. And so we've seen the impact of productivity and a lot of these robots around here. It's incredible to see them in our factories. And we really have to find those people. And we've had programs to train them up and that sort of thing. And so the help you can give is tremendous. Just this morning I was in D.C. with a number of manufacturing CEOs talking about this very issue. And one of the observations that was made I thought was quite interesting. We put a lot of money into four-year universities and graduate schools, and it's great. A lot of money goes into high schools. But when you look at the tech schools, they don't get as much money. And when you look at bringing jobs back to the U.S., we need to have more money going into the tech schools. We need to have these folks getting more help so that when they come out of college, as you point out, they don't have any debt. You have a lot of support from the manufacturing community for folks that deal with things like this. It's a great thing.
That's great. And I guess your business is doing great, right? You saw the report that just came out. The word enthusiasm in, I think, the history of the report, which is 28 years old. So there's a lot of enthusiasm. How many people do you have working for you?
We've got about 5,500 people throughout the world, most of which are here in the U.S.
Great, yeah, it's a great company, great name.
Thank you very much.
And they've even brought more jobs back, so it's a pretty exciting time brought back into the state of Wisconsin. So we're thrilled with that. And going from one type of an engine to the other, John, why don't you tell us a little bit about Mercury Marine? Because I know yesterday you were telling me about not only the advanced manufacturing jobs as you think of at the front end, but all the way through highly skilled engineering positions that you're in the need and demand for.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm delighted to be here. It was absolutely fantastic to have you, Governor, at Mercury Marine yesterday. Mercury Marine is the world leader in marine propulsion systems. So that's engines and drives for the marine industry globally. We've got a little over 6,000 people. About more than 3,000 of them are just an hour north of here in our main manufacturing campus. And our ability, we have been growing our business globally. Our ability to continue to grow our business is directly related to our ability to continue to develop and train a modern workforce. We have invested over $800 million into advanced research and development and advanced manufacturing in the last few years. So the type of skill set that we need today is more technical than it's ever been before. We have a very active apprentice training program where we're always, we work here with Waukesha and 3 other technical schools to bring apprentices in and get the workforce ready for the type of work that they're going to be doing. And we also believe that we need to continue to advance things like STEM schools in communities where we get kids interested in science, technology, engineering, and math at a young age so that they're ready to apply those skills in a modern economy, which is what we're in.
How big do you make your outboard engines nowadays? And do you also make inboard engines or only outboard?
So we make outboards up to 400 horsepower.
Wow.
And we make inboards up to 1,750 horsepower.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you do the racing boats.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I've been many a Mercury engine boat. I actually had one, very small, when I was very young, but nobody would believe it. But it always worked.
Yeah.
I used to go this way, but it always worked.
Well,
So they get really, and then you'll put 2 on some boats, right?
Oh, we put all the way up to 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Outboards.
Depending on the size of the vessel and
Can the outboards ever, if you put enough, can the outboards ever compete with the inboards?
Oh, absolutely. The outboard
For speed, I'm talking about.
The outboard powered boats are actually taking over inboard powered boats. Because of the advancement in technology of an outboard engine, we've made them smoother and quieter and more powerful, plus more intuitive for ease of use than they've ever been before.
That's incredible. To think that is incredible. No, I've seen what you've done. It's great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
In fact, Mr. President, you get a kick out. This just shows why those highly skilled engineers are so important. All the folks who are part of that, they not only make boats that are that, or engines that are that fast. You were telling me yesterday when I was talking to the R&D team that they make them that fast, and yet it's so quiet that one of the things they had to adjust was that one of the customer not complaints but observations was that people were trying to restart their engine, not knowing the engine was on so many times that they created this special component that actually allows the engine to sound a little bit louder when they're idling, just so you don't keep turning it over and over. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Are you doing electric much? What would you say is the difference? And are you doing electric on the outboards?
We have the ability today to do electric propulsion. We've developed prototypes for electric power on the water. We do small electric motors today. The challenge is battery technology.
I see. Do you see it happening then, ultimately electric, or do they like the outboard?
Well, I
engine
think
being...
it eventually it will happen. I think the battery technology is still a ways off where you can have enough power. So if you took a power plant from a Tesla, which we can do, that type of a power plant, and you put it into a boat, a small boat, even a small boat, the battery would last about 10 minutes because of the force required.
I see.
To
So
move
that's
the
a
boat through the
big
water.
problem. That's the problem with that whole field, right? That's great. Well, you make a great product. Congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
When he said his engine was quiet, now I'm going to call on 2 other quick people, and then we'll try and get a few more in here. But I'm going to call on the dean in a minute. But John will get a kick out of this. His team, he said he made a quiet engine. I said, well, that's the opposite of one of my other favorite companies here in the state. And in fact, with all due respect, Mr. President, I said if I really wanted to be president of anything, it's president of the Harley-Davidson Motor Company. So, Matt, why don't you, and I have one.
I've met those guys, I can tell you.
Yeah, they've been out in front. But
I
Matt,
use them in every speech, right?
Yeah, tell them a little bit, and then to close, I'm going to call on the dean to share a few comments as well. So, Matt.
Yeah, Governor, I don't know why when you started talking, everybody started looking at me. We also make engines, so we put them in beautiful motorcycles. And we've got a plant up the road here. This is our engine plant, employing about 1,000 people. And we've been here since the very beginning, 114 years ago. And when you think about this area of the country, you think about any small engine company brand you could think of grew up within 100 miles of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was the Silicon Valley of small engine manufacturing 100 years ago, and it largely is still today. And we have a great foundation of engineering expertise, manufacturing expertise. It's a proud foundation that we're continuing to build on and invest on. And I know all the leaders here in the room. And Governor, you're a great supporter of continued investment in making this state strong as part of the national strength that, Mr. President, you've been a very great advocate for. And I want to thank you for being here, because just by being here and something you said in your opening comments, you're bringing visibility and you're celebrating all the work that we need to do in this country to make for a strong country. And that is more important than anything. We need all the jobs, we need to honor all the workers and all the work necessary for strong companies, a strong society, and a strong economy. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, and good seeing you again. They were in the White House, and I said, how are you doing selling like to other countries? And he was talking about trade barriers. I said, oh, really? How much? And I mentioned we won't mention the name of the country, but what would be a barrier, let's say, for such and such a country? Well, it's 100%. I said 100%. They charge 100% in one of the countries we mentioned, and others charge a lot, and we charge basically nothing. So if his competitors want to come in and sell to us, we charge them nothing. If you sell to them, you charge 100%. I would say that's a pretty big disadvantage. Now, the advantage is the product is much better. But still, that's a big disadvantage.
Yeah, it's a big hill to climb. But
so I've been talking about it a lot.
So
we're going to be making changes. You've been hearing it. But I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, you're a great advocate. To keep us all on time, I'm going to let the Dean have the last word here to kind of wrap things up. But Mike, it's all yours.
Thank you, Governor Walker. Thank you, President Trump and Ivanka, for coming to WCTC and shining the spotlight on the need for people coming into skilled manufacturing positions. One of the biggest challenges and hurdles that we see are parents' perceptions for having their kids come into a skilled trades. And by having you here today is really helping to change that perception and getting that word out there. Today's manufacturing world isn't the dark, dirty, dangerous place that our grandfather's machine shop was at one time. When we look around these beautiful facilities, this is what manufacturing in our high-skilled areas now represent. And so we appreciate you coming here to help change the perception and to put the spotlight on apprenticeships and getting trained for these awesome careers that you've heard all these employers talk about here. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Great job. Beautiful.
Well, I think that's a good place to end up. They always give me cues. I'm sure they give you a million more cues than I get for things. But Mike's exactly right. And this is the one thing that, in particular, I said at the White House, the President of the United States has the biggest bully pulpit in the world. And I really appreciate your attention, not just today. This is the first part of this week, but for the next several days. And I'll join you at the White House with other governors on Thursday. Mike's exactly right. In our state, just as an example, in manufacturing jobs pay 24% more than the average job in the state of Wisconsin. They're much more likely to have benefits like full health care, and they have a retention rate that's about twice what the typical job is in the state of Wisconsin. So while there are many great careers, and our goal is to promote as many of those as possible, Mike's exactly right. Every time a leader like you, more so than anyone else in the country, puts a focus on these types of jobs, particularly this week, but hopefully long into the future, that's a real benefit. So I want to thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Ivanka. Thank you so much, not just for your presence here, but thank you for your leadership on this issue as well. I want to thank both of our cabinet secretaries, and I want to thank our fellow cheesehead, Reince Priebus, the chief of staff, it's always good to have another Packer fan in the White House. We like that as well along the way. And the president even remembered during the playoffs that Aaron Rodgers had not been eating cheese. He called me during the Giants Packers playoff game, and Aaron Rodgers was spectacular. And I was so impressed with your memory. You said he must be eating cheese again. So I said that was pretty good deal.
But if that happens,
cheese and manufacturing, it makes for a good life. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor. Thank you.